everybody, it's Mariana with 3 Peaks Classroom. Welcome and hello. If you are new to my channel, I am currently an English as an additional language teacher here at my site, but I'm a former grade 3 and grade 4 teacher here as well, and I love to make helpful YouTube videos for all of you educators. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be diving into a very crucial topic for all of your K-6 elementary classrooms, and that is the phonics progression. Now I'm going to pause you right here because this is the 3rd episode in my mini-series, and if you have not yet watched the first 2 episodes, I highly recommend that you watch those first before you watch this one. I will link the episodes down below so you don't miss them. But in the first episode, I talk about the differences between phonemic awareness and phonics and why it's so important to have both of those in your classroom. And then in last week's episode, I actually dove deep into the phonemic awareness progression, what it means, what are the building blocks that your students need in order for them to become successful readers and writers. I also give you activities for each step of the way as well. So I'm going to be doing that in today's episode as well. I'm going to talk about the different progressions or the different building blocks that we need in phonics and activities that you can do with your students in a small group setting or in a whole classroom setting as well. So I will take this opportunity to recommend that if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, you might want to do so that you do not miss any future episodes that I have out coming in this series. I'm going to talk to you about how to assess your students to figure out where they are in phonemic awareness progression or in the phonics progression as well, and activities that you can do to pinpoint those struggles for your students as well. So you don't want to miss any episodes. Go ahead and subscribe. So in last week's episode, we talked about phonemic awareness, and we know phonemic awareness is only to do with sounds in spoken words. Phonics, however, is the understanding that sounds correlate to letters. There's a sound and letter relationship. It begins with teaching about letter recognition and sound correspondence. Then it progresses into blending sounds to form words. And then finally, at the very end of the phonics progression, that's where we begin to learn about all of the beautiful, complex rules in the English language. So what is the progression and what are the activities that you can do each step of the way to make it hands-on and engaging? Because that's, of course, what we always strive for and aim for in every classroom is to make it fun and interactive. So the very first, the foundational lesson in your phonics progression is for students to be able to identify each of their letters. So that means, can they point to the alphabet and say, that's a letter R, that is a letter J? Coming from a grade 3 and a grade 4 classroom, and now in this new role where I'm supporting grade 5 and 6 students, it can seem a little childish or tedious to have to teach each individual letter to these older students. You know, it feels like we're in kindergarten. But it really is the foundational lesson in the phonics progression. Students won't be able to spell, read, and write later on if they don't know the basic letters. So if you Google like letter identification games, there's a ton that you can do, but simple ones can be like a sensory bin with letter tiles hidden, and the students have to pick one out and they have to say what letter it is. Maybe it's a letter A, and then they have to find it on a little piece of paper and match it so A goes with letter A. Or you can do like a letter hunt around the classroom where students have to find a letter and then they have to bring it back and put it on their paper, or maybe they have to print it. But the first step is letter identification. So once students are able to identify each of the letters, then naturally the next step in the phonics progression is understanding that there is a letter-sound relationship or a letter-sound correspondence. And that is basically saying that students will recognize that if I have a letter T, it's called the letter T, but T says T, or T makes the sound T. That is the next step in the phonics progression. And so that key component right there, step 2 in the phonics progression, is why phonemic awareness and the awareness that there's a sound T in our language is super important. That's why they go hand in hand in your classroom. This is such a critical step, being able to identify that this letter on the alphabet, the letter S, makes the sound S, or the letter C makes the sound K or S, is so important, and it should not be raced through. So really take your time in this step to really make sure that your students are understanding that these letters make these sounds. So you might have heard of programs like Vowel Alley or a Sound Wall or Secret Stories. All of these programs are helping students to identify that the letters in our alphabet can make one or more sounds and being able to produce those sounds. So a simple activity that you can do in your classroom combines some aspects of phonemic awareness in with phonics. So I have a bunch of different picture cards here, and we are going to listen for the letter T in all of these words. And we're going to sort. If it has the sound T, then we're going to put them in this pile. If it doesn't, we're going to put them in this pile. And then students can also practice printing the letters as well. So I have the word tag. Does tag have T? Yes. So tag goes in this pile. I have a word map. Map does not have a T in it. There's no T sound. This word is nest. Nest. Yes, there is a T in the word nest. So we'll put that in that pile. Tail. Yes, tail. I hear a T at the very beginning. So there is a T in that word. And pot. Yes, there is a T sound. T, t, pot. So all of these pictures have something in common, and they all have the letter T in them. So then I would maybe model writing pot with the T, tail with the T, and I would just model to show them what the T looks like in each of these words. Once students are able to identify letters and then be able to understand the letter and sound correlation, then you're going to move into the next step of phonics, which is blending. So once students are able to identify that letters make sound, so for example, I have the letter S, and there we go. S makes the sound S. Then I'm going to blend letters together. I dropped one. There we go. So if I have S and I have the letter A, then I can put these sounds together, and I have S, A, S, A, Sa. Now, is sa a word? No, sa is not a word, but we are blending these sounds together. And let's add, once your students are confident in 2 letters, then that's when you can start blending in the 3rd letter as well. Let me just rearrange these 1 second. So we have sad, sad, and there you go. There the students are beginning to blend sounds together. This is the beginning stages of being able to read and write, my friends. So they have the individual letter sounds and they are blending them together. First, they're starting off with 1 letter sound, and then 2, and then building their way up to 3, 4, 5, etc. W, I, G. W, I, G. Wig. So some manipulatives that you're going to want to have in your class are whiteboards and whiteboard markers, as well as letter tiles. They can look like this, or they can look like the magnetic letter tiles as well. And you are building those 2-letter sounds. So s, a, or t, a, and then building on with 3 letters and then 4 letters, etc. So this is the blending phase in the phonics progression. The next step after blending in the phonics progression is naturally to move into word families now. So you have a word family like this. Your word family is, let me see if I can, hold on. Why am I upside down? There we go. My word family is add. Add. So then I can build on these words. If I can spell add, I can spell sad, and then I can spell mad, and then I can spell tad. So you're building on this understanding of blending with word families now, and you are exploring all of the word family possibilities. With word families, you are introducing the concept of onset and rhyme. So the word family, or the rhyming part, is add, and then here is the onset, sad. So then you are manipulating the onsets for word families. And once the students have learned to blend letters together and they are learning about word families, now you are introducing them into those little trickier concepts of digraphs and unique spellings. Naturally, while you are exploring words in the English language, there are going to be rule breakers. There are going to be words that do not follow the typical spelling and sound patterns. And so I call those rule breakers in my classroom, or if you follow the UFly program, those are special heart words that you just have to memorize because they don't follow the pattern. Whichever case that you do, you're going to be introducing the notion to students that there are some words that just don't follow the pattern. So this is where you're going to be introducing digraphs. Now, digraphs are where 2 letters, again, we're in phonics, we're talking letters, two letters combine to make only one sound. So for example, S and H combine to make the sound sh. That's just one letter, or one sound, I should say, sh, but it's two letters. So you are introducing these spelling patterns to children. C and H together make the sound ch. You also are going to be teaching about blends. So we have B and L together, blending them together. That makes the sound bl, black. It sounds different than b-l-ak, right? Bl-ak. Also, once you're beginning to teach about rule breakers and digraphs and unique spellings, this is also where you can introduce silent letters like K and G as well. So now that students have identified the letters and they understand that letters make sounds and we are blending sounds together, and you are teaching them about rule breakers and unique spellings and word families and all of that, now in the phonics progression, students are going to be working on multisyllabic spelling, or we call it syllabication. The way that I approach this in my classroom is by clapping it out. So let's say, for example, I want to spell the word celebration. I'm going to listen to how many claps celebration is, and claps is a syllable, right? So celebration, celebration. Did it a little more clear that time. Celebration. And as I write it out, I'm going to write celebration. And I'm looking at this word. And celebration, that's what it sounds like, but it doesn't look right to me. Using my sound letter correspondence, I can identify that maybe the S doesn't look right. Maybe it should be a C, because I know that C and S both can make the S sound. So having that understanding in the phonics progression allows me to make the change necessary, and I can change the S, the initial S, to a C. And then later on, I'm looking at the SHUN, and although it sounds correct, it sounds correct, it doesn't look correct. And that's because I know from earlier lessons that I have a word family, shun, and that is a unique spelling, T-I-O-N, shun, like construction. Then I'm going to take the S-H-U-N that I wrote and I'm going to replace it with T-I-O-N because I know that is the correct spelling. And then I look at my word and I celebrate that I was able to spell a 4-syllable word. Now, of course, that's what a model student would do, but even students who are emerging and learning how to spell longer multisyllabic words, even if they try and attempt to spell celebration and they have those two errors, S at the beginning and then S-H-U-N at the very end, we still celebrate the fact that they are attempting to spell these much harder words. And it's through repetition and reinforcement that they will recognize how to actually accurately self-correct their spelling. So after that, basically the phonics progression is just continued on for life, and people are learning to apply and practice these skills for more fluency in their reading and writing. Once students have a good grasp of their phonics instruction and their phonics skills, then the focus then shifts to being able to read and write fluently, reading smoothly, accurately, with expression. That also includes being able to use your phonics and phonemic awareness skills in reading new contexts and being able to decode. So having those understandings of, oh, I know C makes 2 sounds, so maybe instead of it starting with K, maybe it should start with S. Let me try reading it this way and having more success. Phonics instruction paired with phonemic awareness instruction are the building blocks that your students need in order to see success in reading and writing and listening and speaking fluently and confidently as well. All right, I hope you found this video helpful and the videos previous. In future videos, I will be coming out with different sort of assessments that you can give to your students. I'm not talking about big long quizzes, but quick little assessments that you can give to your students to help give you information about where each of your students are in terms of phonemic awareness and phonics as well, and then activities that you can do to pinpoint those struggling readers and writers as well. So if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, I highly recommend that you do. And then don't forget to like and comment on this video so that YouTube can send this video out to other teachers as well who may be struggling with teaching reading and writing as well. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much for being here. I will see you guys in next week's episode. Bye.